In the dawn of the 20th century, nestled along the rugged shoreline of a small coastal town, life moved with a measured rhythm shaped by the ebb and flow of the tides. The sea was both a livelihood and a mystery to its inhabitants, who relied on its bounty and respected its caprice. In this quiet enclave, the advent of photography began to ripple through the community, bringing with it the power to capture moments and preserve them beyond the fleeting grasp of time. It was an era when the camera, still a marvel of invention, was becoming a cherished tool for commemorating family gatherings, milestones, and the ordinary beauty of daily life. Before we embark on the captivating exploration of a girl whose image defies the relentless passage of time, be sure to subscribe and like the video to immerse yourself in our intriguing tales. And tell me, what curious mysteries have you encountered in your own life as we delve into this extraordinary narrative? Among the townsfolk, a peculiar photograph began to circulate, one that would soon stir whispers and questions. It depicted a young girl, her face lit with a gentle smile, her eyes bright and unshadowed by the passing years. What set this image apart was a subtle yet profound anomaly. The girl, named Eliza, appeared unchanged in every photograph taken over many years. Neighbors who had watched her grow from infancy to childhood were confounded when they noticed that in each new image, Eliza's delicate features remained frozen in time, her youthful visage untouched by age. Eliza's photographs, taken in different settings around the town, the sun-dappled garden of the town square, the worn steps of the local church, the bustling marketplace, showed her in varying outfits and poses, yet her appearance never betrayed the passage of seasons or years. To the community, this was no mere curiosity. It was something inexplicable, something that challenged the natural order they had come to accept. The images were passed from hand to hand, scrutinized for clues, for evidence of trickery or photographic error, but none could explain the unchanging face that stared back at them. The town itself was a place where tradition held firm, even as the new century promised change. Wooden cottages lined the narrow streets, their windows gleaming with the reflections of the sea. Fishermen mended nets at dawn, while women gathered at the market to barter fresh produce and share news. Children played along the shoreline, their laughter mingling with the cries of seagulls and the rhythmic crash of waves. It was in this milieu that Eliza's story began, quietly at first, then growing into a mystery that captivated the town's attention. Photography, though still a relatively young art, had woven itself into the fabric of everyday life here. Portraits were treasured possessions, and the arrival of a traveling photographer was an event of significance. Cameras were cumbersome, their glass plates delicate, and the process of capturing an image was painstaking. Yet, the promise of forever preserving a moment in time was irresistible. For families, photographs were more than images. They were legacies, testaments to existence and love. The photograph of Eliza first came into the public eye during a modest community gathering, where a local artisan displayed a collection of portraits taken over the years. Among the images was one of Eliza as a toddler, her cheeks plump and rosy, her hair tied with a ribbon. Beside it was a more recent portrait, taken only a few years later, in which Eliza appeared nearly identical, save for a change in dress. The resemblance was uncanny, and murmurs spread among those present. Some dismissed the anomaly as a trick of the light or a repeated pose, but others felt a chill of unease. As the photograph continued to circulate, more images surfaced from various sources: family albums, community events, school photographs. In each, Eliza's countenance remained steadfast against the relentless march of time. Those who knew her well began to notice that while Eliza herself seemed to grow in height and experience, the face captured by the camera betrayed no sign of aging. It was a paradox that confounded even the most skeptical observers. The townspeople's fascination grew into something more complex, a mixture of wonder, suspicion, and apprehension. Mothers whispered to one another at the market, speculating on the nature of Eliza's unchanging appearance. Children asked questions their parents could not answer. The local school teacher, a man of reason and learning, attempted to reassure his pupils that photography was not magic and that time's passage was inevitable for all. Yet even he found himself unsettled by the mounting evidence. Eliza herself was an enigma wrapped in the fabric of this mystery. She was the only child of a modest family, whose simple home sat near the edge of town, where the land met the sea. Her parents, kind and protective, bore the weight of growing attention with a quiet dignity tinged by unease. They cherished their daughter's bright smile and gentle demeanor, yet they were wary of the whispers that followed her like shadows. Their love for Eliza was steadfast, but beneath it lay a growing concern about the nature of the attention she attracted. In the early 1900s, the community had little understanding of the forces that might explain such an anomaly. Medical science was still developing, and photography was a nascent technology prone to imperfections. Yet no one could dismiss the evidence that Eliza's image remained unaltered with time. This juxtaposition between the ordinary rhythms of life and the extraordinary mystery that surrounded Eliza created a tension that permeated the town. The phenomenon became a subject of hushed conversations in the town's tavern and quiet corners of the marketplace. Some spoke of superstition, recalling old tales of spirits and curses tied to the sea. Others pondered if Eliza was blessed or cursed with a kind of immortality, a living paradox that defied explanation. The local minister, torn between faith and reason, cautioned against jumping to conclusions, but could not deny the unease that settled like a fog over his congregation. Despite the growing curiosity and speculation, life in the town continued with its familiar cadence. Eliza played with her friends, attended school, and helped her mother with chores. She was unaware of the full extent to which her unchanging image had become a subject of fascination and fear. To her, the camera was simply a part of life, a strange but accepted presence that recorded moments without judgment. The photographer who first captured Eliza's image was a man named Mr. Camden, a traveling artisan whose camera was both his livelihood and his passion. He had visited the town on several occasions, documenting its people and places with an attentive eye. When he noticed the peculiar consistency in Eliza's portraits, he was intrigued but cautious. The technical challenges of early photography often produced anomalies, double exposures, blurred focus, or lighting idiosyncrasies. Yet Eliza's unchanged visage persisted through every session. Mr. Camden's photographs became the primary evidence of the mystery, collected and shared by townsfolk who sought to understand what they saw. Each image was carefully examined, revealing the same youthful face, staring out unchanged, a silent witness to a passage of years that should have left its mark. The community's fascination with these photographs was a testament to the power of images themselves, to preserve memory, to provoke wonder, and to hold within their frames the secrets of a small town by the sea. Thus, the story of Eliza began, not with a dramatic event, but with the quiet unfolding of a mystery captured in glass and light. It was a story that would ripple outward, touching the lives of those who encountered her images, challenging their perceptions of time, aging, and the very nature of existence. In this coastal town, where the sea whispered its eternal song, the photograph of a young girl who never seemed to age became a symbol of the unknown, a glimpse into a world where time itself might pause, just for a moment, to gaze back. Eliza was the sole child of John and Mary Whitmore, a humble couple whose lives were woven into the fabric of the coastal town's daily rhythms. Their modest cottage sat just beyond the village center, where the scent of salt air mingled with the earthy aroma of garden soil. From the moment Eliza was born, she was a beacon of light in their lives. Her bright smile, soft laughter, and gentle disposition endearing her to all who knew her. Yet, beneath the warmth of her presence, lay a growing unease, one that began to stir as the years passed, and the peculiarities of her photographs became impossible to ignore. John Whitmore was a fisherman, his hands weathered by years of labor on the restless sea. His work was steady but demanding, requiring early mornings and long hours. Despite the fatigue that marked his days, he carried a quiet pride in providing for his family. Mary, his wife, was the heart of their home, tending a small garden and caring for Eliza with unwavering devotion. She was known throughout the village for her kindness and gentle spirit, qualities that shaped Eliza's own character as she grew. Eliza's childhood unfolded with the simplicity characteristic of the town. Days were filled with play among the rocky shores, chasing the flight of gulls and collecting seashells, while evenings brought the comfort of home and the stories shared by candlelight. Her friends were the children of neighboring families, with whom she laughed and learned. To those around her, Eliza was a picture of innocence and joy, a child whose presence seemed to brighten even the dullest of days. Yet, as Eliza grew from infancy into childhood, her parents became increasingly protective. The attention that her unchanging appearance drew was a source of growing concern. Whispers in the marketplace and curious glances from neighbors fed into their anxiety. Mary, once serene and confident, found herself wary of outsiders' intentions, while John's jovial nature was tinged with a guarded seriousness. They shielded Eliza as best they could, attempting to preserve the normalcy of her life amidst the escalating curiosity. The family's protective instincts were not without cause. As the town's fascination with Eliza's photographs spread, so too did the scrutiny and speculation. At school, other children whispered and pointed, their innocent observations sometimes tinged with fear. Teachers, unsure how to address the situation, maintained a cautious distance. Even within the community's gatherings, conversations hushed when Eliza approached, as if her presence cast an invisible shadow over the room. Despite these challenges, Eliza herself remained largely unaware of the significance her unchanging visage held for others. To her, the world was a place of wonder and discovery, filled with friends, family, and the simple joys of childhood. She was curious and kind, quick to smile and slow to anger. Her personality was marked by a gentle resilience, an ability to navigate the complexities around her, with a quiet grace that belied her years. The dichotomy between Eliza's outward normalcy and the mystery surrounding her appearance created a tension that rippled through the Whitmore household. John and Mary grappled with conflicting emotions, pride in their daughter's uniqueness tempered by fear for her future. They worried about how the growing attention might affect her, about the whispers that might one day turn to cruelty or worse. Their love was steadfast, but it was shadowed by a protective urgency born of the unknown. Within the town, the Whitmores were respected for their humility and kindness, and many sympathized with their plight. Yet the fascination with Eliza's unchanging image was a force beyond simple empathy. It was a puzzle that challenged the community's understanding of life, growth, and the passage of time. The photographs served as both evidence and enigma, preserving a moment that seemed to defy nature's laws. Mary often found herself reflecting on the early days of Eliza's life, recalling the tender moments when her daughter's smile first brightened their home. She remembered the countless photographs taken to capture those fleeting instants, unaware then that they would become artifacts of a mystery that would grow with each passing year. These images, once tokens of joy, had become symbols of a secret that neither she nor John fully understood. Eliza's personality blossomed amidst these complexities. She was thoughtful and observant, often spending hours exploring the natural world around her. The rocky coves and tidal pools of the coastline were her playground, where she delighted in the discovery of creatures and plants, their delicate lives a contrast to the permanence of her own image. Friends described her as gentle and sincere, someone who listened with intent and spoke with kindness. Her innocence was a shield and a blessing, protecting her from the full weight of the town's speculation. She did not grasp the full meaning of the whispers or the significance of the unchanging face that appeared in every photograph. To Eliza, the camera was a familiar object, a tool that captured moments she barely understood, yet accepted as part of life's tapestry. John and Mary's protective nature extended beyond shielding Eliza from prying eyes. They sought solace in the familiar rhythms of family life, creating a sanctuary within their home where normalcy could flourish. They nurtured her interests, encouraged her friendships, and celebrated her milestones as any loving parents would. Yet, beneath this veneer of normality, they carried a quiet worry, an unspoken question about what lay ahead for their daughter. The Whitmores' concern was not without foundation. As Eliza's story spread beyond the town's borders, it drew the attention of visitors and strangers, some driven by scientific curiosity, others by superstition or sensationalism. Letters arrived from distant places, inquiries from those who wished to witness the girl whose image defied time. The family faced a delicate balance between protecting Eliza's privacy and managing the growing public interest. Within the community, this tension manifested in a complex mixture of support and unease. Neighbors offered kindness and assistance, yet some harbored apprehension, fearful of the unknown and the implications of Eliza's unchanging image. The town, once a place of quiet routine, found itself at the crossroads of tradition and the inexplicable. Eliza's own experiences reflected this duality. She navigated the challenges of childhood with resilience, her gentle demeanor endearing her to those who took the time to know her. Yet, she was not immune to the subtle shifts in how others perceived her, the cautious glances and whispered conversations. These undercurrents shaped her understanding of the world, revealing the delicate balance between innocence and awareness. The Whitmores remained the steadfast center of Eliza's life. Their love provided a foundation upon which she could grow, even as the mysteries surrounding her image deepened. John's steady presence and Mary's nurturing care created a haven where Eliza's personality could flourish, untouched by the growing storm of curiosity and fear that swirled beyond their doorstep. In this small coastal town, the story of Eliza was not merely one of a child whose image refused to age. It was also a story of a family's love and protection, of a community grappling with the boundaries of understanding, and of a young girl's quiet journey through the complexities of life. As Eliza's personality unfolded amidst the whispers and photographs, it became clear that the mystery was entwined with the very human experience of growth love, and the desire to be seen and accepted for who one truly is. On the morning of Eliza's 10th birthday, the Whitmore household was alive with quiet excitement. Mary had prepared a modest celebration, inviting close friends and neighbors to mark the occasion. The day was bright and clear, the sea breeze carrying the scent of salt and blooming flowers through the open windows. Eliza, unaware of the significance her image held beyond the family's walls, wore a simple dress adorned with a ribbon, her eyes shining with youthful joy. As was customary in the town, a photograph was to be taken to commemorate the milestone, a practice embraced by families eager to preserve memories of growing children and cherished moments. Mr. Camden, the traveling photographer who had documented Eliza's life over the years, arrived with his equipment, setting up his camera with practiced care. The room hushed as Eliza took her place, her smile steady and bright before the lens. When the photograph was developed, it was met with both admiration and a deepening unease. Eliza's image, as always, showed her youthful features untouched by the passage of time. She looked precisely as she had in photographs taken years before. The same bright eyes, the same soft smile, the same unchanging face. The ribbon on her dress was different, the background altered, but Eliza herself appeared frozen in a moment that refused to yield to the years. This revelation sparked whispers throughout the community. The photograph was circulated among townsfolk, each viewing it with a mixture of fascination and apprehension. Questions began to surface. How could a child remain unchanged? Was it some trick of the camera, a fault in the developing process, or something more inexplicable? The mystery that had quietly grown over the years suddenly demanded attention. Within the Whitmore home, the reaction was complex. John and Mary exchanged worried glances, their protective instincts intensified by the public scrutiny. They had hoped the anomaly would remain a private concern, but the photograph's widespread circulation made secrecy impossible. Mary's gentle demeanor now bore a trace of unease, while John's steady presence was tinged with a new urgency to shield their daughter from the growing attention. Community members voiced their concerns in hushed tones. Some speculated that the photograph was a clever forgery, a trick of light or double exposure common in early photography. Others whispered of superstition, recalling old tales of spirits and timeless beings. The local doctor, called upon to examine Eliza, found no physical explanation, attributing the unchanged appearance to youthful features and photographic quirks. Yet, even the professionals struggled to provide reassurance. Eliza herself remained blissfully unaware of the storm her image had stirred. To her, the photograph was simply a picture, a snapshot in time that captured a happy day. She continued her daily routines, playing with friends, attending school, and exploring the coastline. Her innocence shielded her from the growing complexity that surrounded her, allowing her to live a childhood unburdened by the mystery others saw. Mr. Camden, the photographer, found himself drawn deeper into the enigma. His years of experience had exposed him to the oddities and challenges of early photography, but Eliza's case defied explanation. He noted anomalies during their sessions. The camera struggled to focus sharply on her face. The glass plates sometimes captured faint, indistinct outlines around her figure. These phenomena puzzled him, yet he was reluctant to ascribe them to anything beyond technical glitches. The broader community began to grapple with the implications of Eliza's unchanging appearance. Parents worried about their own children, wondering if such phenomena might be signs of disease or curse. Town elders debated whether to involve authorities beyond their borders, seeking counsel from distant experts or clergy. The town's once simple existence was now clouded by questions that challenged their understanding of nature and time. Scientific perspectives of the era, though limited, were brought to bear on the mystery. Local physicians examined Eliza and her family, searching for signs of illness or anomaly. They found none. Eliza was healthy, vibrant, and developing normally in every other respect. Her physical growth, measured in height and strength, proceeded naturally, yet her photographic likeness remained constant, a paradox that unsettled even the most rational minds. Superstition, too, gained renewed currency. Some villagers whispered that Eliza was touched by forces beyond human comprehension, either blessed or cursed by the sea's ancient spirits. Tales of fairies and changelings surfaced in quiet conversations, stories passed down through generations that suddenly seemed to gain new relevance. The local minister preached caution, urging the community to seek understanding through faith rather than fear. The growing public interest placed strain on the Whitmore family. Invitations for interviews and visits arrived from curious outsiders. John and Mary, protective and wary, declined most requests, wishing to preserve their daughter's privacy. Yet the boundaries between public fascination and private life blurred, exposing Eliza to a world of speculation she was too young to comprehend. At school, the atmosphere shifted. Peers who once played freely with Eliza became tentative. Their curiosity mingled with fear. Teachers struggled to maintain normalcy, balancing the need for education with the undercurrents of unease. Eliza's classmates whispered during lessons, their questions directed more at each other than at the girl herself. Despite this, Eliza continued to engage with her studies and friends, her gentle nature endearing her to those who looked beyond the mystery. The Whitmores found solace in small moments of normalcy. Family dinners, walks along the beach, and quiet evenings by the hearth offered reprieve from the scrutiny. Mary's soft lullabies and John's steady presence grounded Eliza, providing a sanctuary where the complexities of the outside world momentarily faded. Their love was a constant in a shifting landscape of uncertainty. As the 10th birthday photograph circulated, it became clear that the mystery was no longer contained within the family or the town. Letters arrived from distant cities, inquiries from scholars of photography and medicine, eager to study Eliza's case. The Whitmores faced choices they had not anticipated, whether to embrace the attention in hopes of finding answers, or to retreat further into privacy, to protect their daughter's innocence. Throughout this period, Eliza's own life remained a tapestry of ordinary moments, woven with the extraordinary threads of her unchanging image. She played among the rocky shores, chased the flight of gulls, and listened to the stories told by the sea breeze. Her days were filled with laughter and discovery, even as the world around her grappled with a mystery that refused to yield. The photograph taken on her 10th birthday thus marked a turning point. It was a symbol of innocence preserved and a puzzle that defied explanation. It sparked debates, fears, and hopes within the community, challenging their understanding of time, youth, and the nature of reality. For the Whitmores, it was a reminder of the delicate balance between love and protection, between the desire to understand and the need to preserve childhood's fragile light. In this coastal town, where the sea's eternal song whispered of change and constancy alike, Eliza's unchanged image stood as a silent testament to a mystery that had only just begun to unfold. Mr. Camden, the traveling photographer, whose keen eye had chronicled the lives of many in the coastal town, found himself increasingly captivated by Eliza. From the first time he encountered her, He had sensed something extraordinary beneath the surface of the familiar images he captured. Over the years, as he continued to document her life, his fascination deepened, driven not only by a professional curiosity, but by an unspoken desire to understand the enigma that was Eliza. Each year, during his visits to the town, Camden made it a point to photograph Eliza anew, arranging sessions that allowed her to be seen in different settings, amidst the wildflowers in the garden, seated on the weathered steps of the town's chapel, or standing by the shore where the sea met the sand. These portraits, varying in composition and attire, were intended to capture the natural progression of childhood. Yet, despite the passage of time, Eliza's visage remained unchanged, an unwavering constant in the shifting world around her. During these sessions, Camden observed peculiarities that defied explanation. The camera, a device he knew intimately, sometimes resisted focusing sharply on Eliza's face. The glass plates occasionally retained faint, indistinct outlines surrounding her figure, as if a subtle aura blurred the edges of her image. These anomalies puzzled him, yet he hesitated to attribute them to anything beyond the technical challenges common to early photography: imperfect lenses, fluctuating light, or the delicate chemistry of development. More than once, Camden found himself adjusting the camera's focus and exposure, experimenting with angles and lighting in hopes of capturing a definitive image. Yet, each attempt seemed to confirm the mystery rather than solve it. Eliza's face, always clear and bright, bore no sign of aging, no hint of the years that had passed since the first photograph. The camera appeared to acknowledge and preserve an unchanging essence, a frozen moment in time that resisted the natural flow of life. The photographs produced during these sessions became a silent chronicle of Eliza's life, or rather, of the paradox at its heart. They showed her in different dresses, with varying hairstyles, and in diverse locations around the town, yet the youthful features remained untouched. This consistency was so striking that it attracted the attention of the community in ways Camden had not anticipated. The images were shared, scrutinized, and speculated upon, becoming artifacts of a mystery that gripped the town's imagination. Camden's fascination was not without personal consequence. He began to feel a growing sense of responsibility toward Eliza and her family. The attention his photographs drew brought both curiosity and unease to the Whitmore household, and Camden found himself caught between his role as an observer and his desire to shield them from unwanted intrusion. His sessions became more deliberate, carried out with care and respect, yet the enigma of Eliza's unchanging image remained unresolved. The technical difficulties Camden encountered during these photographic sessions extended beyond mere focus issues. On occasion, the camera's shutter seemed reluctant to release, or the glass plate would develop faint smudges and shadows around Eliza's figure. At times, the resulting images bore subtle distortions, ghostly halos or faint double images that defied the limitations of his equipment. These phenomena were rare and unpredictable, adding layers of complexity to an already perplexing situation. Despite these challenges, Camden remained committed to his craft and to Eliza's story. He meticulously documented each session, preserving notes on conditions, settings, and his observations. His growing collection of portraits became the primary visual record of the mystery, a testament to both the power of early photography and the inexplicable nature of Eliza's unchanging visage. As Camden delved deeper into this pursuit, he sought out others in the field of photography and science, hoping to find explanations or parallels. He consulted with fellow photographers, some of whom dismissed the anomalies as technical errors or coincidences, while others expressed genuine intrigue. The limitations of contemporary photographic technology were well understood, but none could account for the persistent youthfulness captured in Eliza's images. Beyond technical considerations, Camden also grappled with the implications of his work. The photographs were more than mere images. They were symbols of a mystery that touched upon fundamental questions about time, life, and identity. The idea that a person's image could remain unchanged, defying the natural progression of years, challenged not only scientific understanding, but also philosophical and spiritual beliefs held by the town and beyond. Within the community, Camden's photographs became objects of both fascination and fear. Some saw them as proof of supernatural forces at work, while others viewed them as unsettling aberrations. The images were displayed in local gatherings, passed among families, and discussed in whispers at the market and tavern. In this way, Camden's work transcended its artistic origins, becoming a catalyst for dialogue and speculation about the unknown. Camden himself was not immune to the emotional weight of the mystery. He found that each session left him with a mixture of wonder and melancholy, a sense of capturing a moment that should have faded, yet stubbornly endured. The camera, usually a tool for preserving memories, seemed to reveal a truth that was both beautiful and unsettling. Eliza's unchanging face was a mirror reflecting the tension between permanence and change, between the fleeting and the eternal. Despite the growing attention, Camden remained discreet about the full extent of the mystery. He respected the Whitmore family's wishes for privacy and approached each photographic session with sensitivity. His role was that of a chronicler, recording what he observed without imposing interpretation. Yet beneath this professional detachment lay a quiet hope that through his images a deeper understanding might one day emerge. The photographs also influenced local artists and writers who found inspiration in the mystery that Camden's camera had unveiled. Paintings, poems, and stories began to circulate, exploring themes of timelessness, innocence, and the delicate balance between life and death. Eliza's image became a muse, a symbol of the unknown forces that shape human existence and our attempts to capture and comprehend them. In the quiet moments between sessions, Camden often reflected on the limitations of his craft and the broader mysteries it touched upon. Photography, for all its power to freeze time, was also a reminder of the impermanence that defines life. Yet here was Eliza, a living paradox captured again and again, her youthful visage defying the very nature of change. As years passed, Camden's portraits accumulated into a singular collection, a visual narrative of a girl who seemed to live outside the boundaries of time. Each image was a page in a story, without a clear beginning or end, a puzzle that beckoned to be solved, yet resisted every attempt at explanation. Through his lens, Camden had not only documented a mystery, but had become a part of it, a witness to the enduring enigma of Eliza. In the coastal town where the sea whispered secrets of eternity, Camden's photographs stood as silent testimony to a phenomenon that transcended the ordinary. They were a bridge between the familiar and the inexplicable, capturing a child whose image remained forever young, inviting all who saw her to ponder the fragile boundary between reality and the unknown. As the years lengthened and new seasons unfurled along the rugged coastline, the phenomenon surrounding Eliza's unchanging visage evolved into a complex tapestry of consequence for the Whitmore family and the wider community. The photographs that once elicited mere curiosity now cast a long shadow over their lives, intertwining blessing with burden in ways neither Eliza nor her parents could have foreseen. The Whitmores found themselves at the epicenter of a social maelstrom, their modest home transformed from a sanctuary into a focal point of public scrutiny. Neighbors, once warm and familiar, began to distance themselves, their conversations tinged with caution and speculation. Whispers of superstition and fear circulated, and the family's privacy eroded beneath the weight of an unrelenting gaze. Friends who had played with Eliza in the sunlit fields now hesitated, unsure how to reconcile the child they knew with the enigma preserved in countless photographs. Despite the emotional toll, the photographs remained a tangible blessing, a preserved echo of Eliza's youthful innocence amidst a world that marched inexorably forward. They were cherished keepsakes for the Whitmores, silent witnesses to a childhood that, in many ways, defied the expected passage of time. Yet these images also deepened the mystery and fostered a creeping fear that the family could not easily dispel. Eliza herself navigated this complicated landscape with a grace that belied her years. Largely unaware of the full extent to which her unchanging appearance had become a subject of fascination and, at times, unease, she lived a life that outwardly resembled that of any child growing up in the town. She attended school, played with friends, and participated in community events, her gentle smile and warm demeanor endearing her to those who looked beyond the whispers. Yet even as Eliza moved through the rhythms of daily life, the photographs created an invisible barrier. Some children, influenced by the stories they overheard, regarded her with a mixture of awe and suspicion. Teachers found themselves walking a delicate line, striving to protect Eliza from the isolation that could come with difference, while also managing the curiosity of a young and impressionable class. Eliza's innocence shielded her, but the undercurrents of her uniqueness shaped her experiences in subtle, lasting ways. For the Whitmores, the growing public scrutiny demanded careful navigation. John and Mary endeavored to maintain a semblance of normalcy, yet the strain was undeniable. Invitations to speak with outsiders, scientists, journalists, and the merely curious arrived with increasing frequency, each request a test of their resolve to protect Eliza's privacy. They declined most, wary of exploitation and the potential harm it could bring to their daughter's fragile world. Within the town, opinions varied. Some villagers rallied to support the family, offering quiet gestures of solidarity, a basket of food left on the doorstep, an encouraging word at the market, while others withdrew, their fear of the unknown fostering distance. The community's ambivalence reflected the tension between empathy and apprehension, between the desire to understand and the instinct to fear what defies explanation. This social isolation was a heavy burden for the Whitmores. Mary, once a woman of serene confidence, found herself retreating into the quiet corners of their home, her worries for Eliza's future growing with each passing year. John, whose strong hands had long worked the sea's bounty, grappled with feelings of helplessness, his protective instincts challenged by forces beyond his control. Their love for Eliza remained unwavering, but it was shadowed by a deep and persistent anxiety. The photographs, ironically, became both a source of comfort and a symbol of the family's challenges. Each image, frozen in time, was a reminder of the mystery that set Eliza apart, a mystery that defied medical understanding and societal norms. The visual continuity of her youthful appearance was a stark contrast to the changing world around her, a visual paradox that provoked both wonder and unease. Eliza's own understanding of her place in the world was shaped by these complexities. Though shielded by her parents' care, she was not immune to the subtle signals of difference that surrounded her. Moments of confusion and loneliness punctuated her childhood, tempered by the warmth of her family and the few steadfast friends who accepted her without question. Her personality, marked by resilience and kindness, grew in response to these experiences, forging a character both gentle and quietly strong. School remained a microcosm of the broader social dynamics at play. Teachers, aware of Eliza's unique circumstances, sought to foster an environment of inclusion, though the whispers and sideways glances of other children were difficult to fully quell. Eliza's classmates, influenced by tales and rumors, vacillated between fascination and fear, their youthful perceptions shaped by the stories that swirled around her. Despite this, Eliza maintained friendships grounded in genuine affection and shared experiences. As the photographs continued to accumulate over the years, they became a silent chronicle of a childhood that seemed suspended between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Each new image was a reaffirmation of the mystery, a visual record that preserved Eliza's unchanging visage against the inexorable progression of time. For the Whitmores, these photographs were both a treasure and a trial, a connection to their daughter's innocence and a reminder of the burdens her uniqueness imposed. The interplay between public fascination and private hardship shaped the Whitmores' daily lives. Social invitations were weighed carefully, community events attended with caution. The family's interactions with neighbors grew more measured, their world contracting even as the photographs circulated widely. The tension between belonging and isolation was a persistent undercurrent, a challenge they faced with quiet determination. Despite the challenges, the Whitmores found strength in their love and resilience. They cultivated a home filled with warmth and tenderness, a refuge from the uncertainties that lay beyond their door. Mary's gentle care and John's steadfast presence provided Eliza with a foundation upon which she could grow, even as the world around her struggled to comprehend her existence. The photographs themselves became a focal point for reflection within the family. They were treasured artifacts, reminders of moments captured and preserved, yet they also embodied questions that remained unanswered. What was the nature of Eliza's unchanging image? How did it shape her destiny? These questions lingered silently, woven into the fabric of the family's shared experience. Within the broader community, Eliza's story inspired a mixture of artistic and intellectual responses. Local writers penned poems and stories, exploring themes of time, youth, and mystery. Artists sought to capture the paradox of a child preserved in perpetual innocence. The photographs became more than mere images. They were symbols of the delicate balance between change and permanence, between the known and the unknowable. As Eliza moved through the years, the photographs remained a constant, a visual thread connecting her past to her present. They preserved not only her image, but the complexities of a life lived under the gaze of fascination and fear. Through these images, the town grappled with questions that transcended their small world, touching upon the nature of time, identity, and the human desire to hold on to fleeting moments. In this way, the photographs were both a blessing and a curse, a means of preserving memory and a mirror reflecting the challenges of difference. For Eliza and her family, they embodied the paradox of a life simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary, a testament to the enduring mystery that surrounded the girl who seemed never to age. Decades passed, and the small coastal town that had once buzzed with whispered speculation about Eliza gradually settled into a quieter rhythm. The photographs of the girl who never seemed to age were carefully tucked away in family albums and forgotten drawers, relics of a mystery that had faded from daily conversation, but lingered in the town's collective memory. It was not until the early years of the new century that the enigma resurfaced with renewed vigor, sparked by the chance discovery of Eliza's complete collection of portraits in a forgotten attic. The attic belonged to the Whitmore home's next generation, where dust motes danced in shafts of sunlight and time seemed to stand still among stacks of old trunks and faded fabrics. It was a local historian, an inquisitive woman named Clara Bennett, who first uncovered the trove of photographs while researching the town's history for a forthcoming publication. Clara, meticulous and passionate, recognized immediately that these images were unlike any she had seen before. As she carefully examined the collection, Clara noted the consistency of Eliza's appearance across the decades. The portraits spanned a remarkable timeline, showing Eliza in varying attire, different poses, and diverse settings throughout the town. Yet her youthful face remained unaltered, a constant amidst the ebb and flow of years. This discovery sparked Clara's determination to understand the true nature of the mystery that had puzzled generations. With the benefit of emerging photographic technologies, Clara arranged for the images to be analyzed by experts in the field. Advances in photographic science allowed for detailed examination of the glass plates and prints, revealing subtle, previously undetectable details. Among these were faint, almost imperceptible anomalies, minute distortions in the background, slight inconsistencies in lighting, and an ethereal quality surrounding Eliza's figure that defied conventional explanation. The experts, intrigued and baffled, found no evidence of tampering, double exposure, or manipulation. The photographs appeared authentic, their anomalies inexplicable by known photographic processes. This lent further weight to the growing conviction that Eliza's unchanging image was not a mere artifact of early photographic limitations, but a genuine phenomenon warranting deeper investigation. Intrigued by these findings, Clara delved into the Whitmore family archives, unearthing letters, journals, and personal accounts. Among these was an old diary belonging to Eliza's mother, Mary Whitmore, whose entries offered a rare and intimate glimpse into the family's experiences. The diary spoke of a family secret, alluding to a mystical event that had occurred during Eliza's infancy, a moment shrouded in both wonder and fear. Mary's words described a night when the sea was restless, winds howling outside their cottage as Eliza lay cradled in her arms. She wrote of a strange light that enveloped the child, a sensation of timelessness that seemed to suspend the passage of moments. This event, Mary believed, was the genesis of Eliza's unchanging visage, a blessing or curse bestowed by forces beyond human understanding. The diary entries revealed the Whitmores' complex emotions, love, hope, and an undercurrent of anxiety, as they grappled with the implications of this secret. Mary's reflections conveyed a mother's protective instincts, intertwined with a profound awareness of the extraordinary. The family's decision to keep this event private was born of both fear of judgment and a desire to shield Eliza from the world's scrutiny. Clara's research extended beyond the family's personal documents. She sought out local folklore and oral histories, uncovering tales passed down through generations about the sea's mystical powers and its capacity to alter fate. Stories of spirits, time loops, and enchanted children were woven into the town's cultural fabric, lending a broader context to Eliza's story. These narratives, while steeped in superstition, provided a framework through which the community had historically attempted to comprehend the inexplicable. They revealed a tension between rational understanding and the enduring power of myth, a tension that shaped the town's collective identity and its response to Eliza's mystery. The historian's work attracted the attention of scholars in fields as varied as anthropology, psychology, and the emerging sciences of time and memory. Interdisciplinary teams convened to study the photographs and associated records, seeking to unravel the phenomenon through scientific and cultural lenses. Their investigations incorporated advances in photographic analysis, historical research, and theoretical frameworks addressing perception and temporality. Despite the wealth of information gathered, the consensus remained elusive. No definitive explanation emerged to account for Eliza's unchanging image. The phenomenon resisted classification, standing at the intersection of science and folklore, fact and mystery. Researchers proposed various hypotheses, ranging from undiscovered photographic anomalies to psychological phenomena related to memory and perception, yet none fully encompassed the evidence. Clara's work, however, breathed new life into the narrative. Her meticulous documentation and synthesis of findings rekindled public interest and inspired renewed debate within the town and beyond. Exhibitions of the photographs were organized, drawing visitors intrigued by the enduring enigma. The images, once hidden away, became focal points for reflection on the nature of time, aging, and the human desire to preserve moments. The discovery of the diary and the photographic collection also prompted a re-evaluation of the Whitmore family's legacy. Far from being mere subjects of curiosity, they emerged as participants in a profound story that intertwined love, mystery, and the limits of human understanding. Their choices to protect Eliza, to preserve her image, and to bear the weight of secrecy were recognized as acts of resilience and devotion. As the story of Eliza unfolded anew through Clara's research, it highlighted the intricate interplay between personal experience and collective memory. It underscored how history, science, and folklore converge to shape our perceptions of the unknown. The photographs, once silent witnesses, were now voices in an ongoing dialogue about the mysteries that lie at the heart of human existence. In the attic where the journey began, the collection of photographs remained, a testament to a life lived at the crossroads of time and mystery. Through Clara's efforts, Eliza's story transcended the boundaries of a small coastal town, inviting all who encountered it to ponder the fragile line between reality and the extraordinary, and to consider the enduring power of memory captured in light and shadow. Following the rediscovery of Eliza's photographs and the intimate diary of her mother, a diverse assembly of experts convened to investigate the phenomenon that had long eluded explanation. Scholars in photography, folklore, anthropology, and emerging scientific disciplines gathered, each bringing their unique methodologies and perspectives to bear upon the mystery. Their collaboration underscored the complexity of the case, which resisted simplistic categorization and demanded a multifaceted approach. Photographic experts began by meticulously analyzing the images using the latest technology available. High-resolution scans revealed the fine grain of the glass plates and paper prints, while spectral analysis sought traces of manipulation or chemical anomalies. The consensus among these specialists was that the photographs were genuine, unaltered artifacts. No evidence suggested double exposure, retouching, or compositional trickery common to early photographic practices. The peculiarities observed, such as faint halos or subtle distortions around Eliza's image, remained unexplained, challenging existing knowledge of photographic processes. Folklorists contributed by contextualizing the images within the rich tapestry of local legends and mythologies. They examined oral histories and cultural narratives that depicted encounters with timeless beings, spirits of the sea, and children marked by otherworldly traits. These stories, passed down through generations, offered symbolic frameworks through which the community might interpret Eliza's unchanging visage. The folklorists emphasized that such narratives often serve to reconcile the inexplicable with human experience, blending reality and metaphor in ways that reflect communal hopes and fears. Anthropologists brought attention to the social dynamics surrounding Eliza's story. They analyzed how the community's collective memory and identity were shaped by the mystery, considering the role of ritual, narrative, and cultural values in constructing meaning. Their studies highlighted the interplay between individual experience and group perception, illustrating how Eliza's image became a symbol within the social fabric, a marker of both fascination and unease. This perspective underscored the importance of understanding the phenomenon not only as a visual anomaly, but as a cultural event embedded in human relationships. Psychologists and emerging theorists of perception examined the case through the lens of human cognition and memory. They explored the possibility that the unchanging image reflected psychological phenomena, such as selective attention, memory bias, or the brain's tendency to stabilize familiar faces within social contexts. Some proposed that the photographs might capture an idealized or archetypal representation of Eliza, shaped by collective expectation rather than physical reality. While these theories offered intriguing insights, they could not fully account for the tangible evidence presented by the photographs themselves. Scientific inquiry extended to emerging concepts of time and temporality. Physicists and philosophers engaged in speculative discussions about the nature of time as a non-linear or subjective experience. They considered whether Eliza's unchanging image might reflect a localized anomaly in temporal perception or a form of suspended animation beyond current scientific understanding. Though largely theoretical, these ideas opened new avenues for contemplating the boundaries of human knowledge and the mysteries that lie at the edge of empirical observation. Despite the breadth of investigation, the assembled experts found the mystery resistant to definitive explanation. Each discipline illuminated facets of the phenomenon, but also revealed inherent limitations. The photographs defied conventional scientific scrutiny, while folklore and cultural analysis underscored their symbolic resonance without providing empirical answers. Psychological theories offered plausible cognitive interpretations, but could not reconcile the physical reality of the images. The discourse remained open-ended, a testament to the complexity of phenomena that bridge the tangible and the intangible. Throughout their work, the investigators grappled with the tension between skepticism and wonder. The case challenged entrenched assumptions about aging, mortality, and the permanence of time. It invited them to consider the possibility that human experience encompasses dimensions not yet fully comprehended, where perception, memory, and reality intertwine in ways that transcend empirical boundaries. This intellectual humility became a defining theme in the ongoing exploration of Eliza's story. The interdisciplinary collaboration also highlighted the evolving relationship between science and folklore in early 20th century society. The tension between rational inquiry and mythic understanding was not merely academic, but reflected broader cultural shifts. As technological advances expanded the horizons of knowledge, enduring mysteries like Eliza's image served as reminders of the limits inherent in human understanding. They invited a synthesis of perspectives that honored both empirical rigor and the rich tapestry of human imagination. Public engagement with the mystery was shaped by these competing narratives. Exhibitions of the photographs and accompanying research attracted diverse audiences. Scientists intrigued by the anomaly, folklorists seeking cultural resonance, and laypeople drawn by the allure of the unknown. Discussions and debates flourished, reflecting society's broader fascination with the interplay between the seen and the unseen, the known and the mysterious. Within the town itself, the investigation reinvigorated local discourse. Residents revisited their memories and stories, contributing personal recollections and family lore that enriched the collective understanding. The mystery became a living part of the community's heritage, a shared narrative that connected past and present. This renewed interest fostered a sense of continuity and identity, grounded in the recognition of life's enduring enigmas. For the Whitmore family descendants, the investigation was both a validation and a revelation. The acknowledgement of the photograph's authenticity and the seriousness of inquiry honored the experiences they had long carried quietly. At the same time, the absence of conclusive answers underscored the enduring nature of the mystery that had shaped their history. Their story became emblematic of the human quest to reconcile love, loss, and the unknowable. The case of Eliza's unchanging image thus stood at the crossroads of knowledge and mystery, a phenomenon that resisted compartmentalization and invited ongoing reflection. It challenged investigators to embrace complexity, to acknowledge the limits of certainty, and to appreciate the profound questions that linger beyond empirical reach. Through this lens, Eliza's story transcended its particulars, becoming a symbol of the fragile boundary between reality and the extraordinary. In grappling with the enigma, the experts and community alike were reminded of the human desire to find meaning in the passage of time, to capture the fleeting moments of life, and to understand the forces that shape existence. The photographs, with their silent yet compelling testimony, continued to provoke wonder and inquiry, inviting all who encountered them to ponder the mysteries that dwell just beyond the grasp of understanding. The enduring mystery of Eliza's unchanging image cast a profound influence beyond the confines of the coastal town, rippling through cultural, artistic, and intellectual spheres in the early 20th century. As the photographs circulated, accompanied by scholarly inquiry and local folklore, they became a catalyst for broader debates about the nature of time, perception, and the limits of human understanding. This tension between scientific progress and the intangible power of mystery resonated deeply within a society grappling with rapid change. Artists found in Eliza's story a wellspring of inspiration. Painters sought to capture the paradox of perpetual youthfulness amid the relentless passage of years, experimenting with light and shadow to evoke the fragile boundary between temporal reality and timelessness. Their canvases often depicted children caught in moments of suspended animation, eyes wide with innocence, yet marked by an eerie stillness. These works invited viewers to contemplate the fleeting nature of childhood and the human yearning to preserve it against the inevitable march of time. Writers and poets, too, were drawn to the enigma. Eliza's photographs became muses for narratives exploring themes of immortality, memory, and the elusive passage of life. Stories emerged of beings caught between worlds, of time's cruel and gentle hands, and of the desire to hold fast to moments slipping away. Through their words, these artists gave voice to the universal tension between change and permanence, weaving Eliza's image into the fabric of literary imagination. Philosophers and thinkers engaged with the implications of the mystery, challenging prevailing notions of temporality and existence. The case prompted reflections on how human consciousness perceives time, not as a fixed sequence, but as a subjective experience shaped by memory and expectation. This intellectual discourse intersected with emerging theories in psychology and physics, fostering interdisciplinary dialogues that questioned the very foundations of reality. Within society at large, Eliza's story sparked conversations about the human relationship with aging and mortality. The photographs became symbols of the desire to capture youth, to resist decay, and to transcend the limitations imposed by the body and time. This fascination reflected broader cultural anxieties and hopes, revealing how deeply intertwined notions of identity and temporality are in shaping human experience. The mystery also highlighted the persistent tension between scientific rationalism and the enduring power of folklore and belief. While advances in technology and knowledge offered new tools for investigation, they often encountered phenomena that eluded explanation. Eliza's unchanging image became emblematic of this dynamic, a reminder that not all mysteries yield to empirical inquiry, and that myth and science can coexist in the human quest for understanding. Local culture embraced the story with a mixture of pride and reverence, integrating it into communal identity. Festivals and exhibitions commemorated Eliza's legacy, celebrating the intersection of history, art, and mystery. The photographs were displayed alongside artifacts of the town's heritage, inviting reflection on the passage of time and the stories that shape place and memory. This cultural integration fostered a sense of continuity, linking generations through shared narratives and symbols. Eliza's image became a touchstone for contemplating the delicate balance between permanence and change, a visual metaphor for the human condition. It inspired community gatherings, artistic collaborations, and educational initiatives that explored the interplay of history, science, and storytelling. At the same time, the photographs challenged viewers to consider the limitations of perception and the nature of reality itself. They posed questions about how images mediate our understanding of the world, and how memory and desire shape the stories we tell. This reflexivity enriched artistic and intellectual explorations, positioning Eliza's story as a focal point for examining the processes through which meaning is constructed. The enduring allure of the photographs also influenced emerging technologies and practices in photography and visual media. Technicians and artists alike grappled with the possibilities and constraints of capturing and preserving moments, inspired by the paradox of an image that resisted temporal change. This prompted innovations in technique and theory, as practitioners sought to reconcile the mechanical aspects of photography with its capacity to evoke emotion and mystery. Scholars noted that Eliza's story illuminated broader themes relevant to modernity: the tension between progress and tradition, the negotiation of identity in a changing world, and the human desire to anchor experience in tangible forms. The photographs became emblematic of these themes, serving as a prism through which to explore the complexities of existence in a rapidly evolving society. As the mystery continued to captivate the public imagination, it also invited reflection on the ethical dimensions of memory and representation. Questions arose about the responsibility inherent in preserving images and stories, particularly when they intersect with private lives and communal histories. The Whitmore family's experience underscored the delicate balance between public fascination and personal dignity, a dynamic that resonated in broader discussions about media and privacy. Through these multifaceted engagements, Eliza's unchanging image transcended its origins as a local curiosity to become a symbol of universal human concerns. It embodied the paradox of life's fleeting moments preserved in stillness, the yearning to understand what lies beyond the visible, and the interplay between science, myth, and art in shaping perception. In this way, the photographs served not only as historical artifacts, but as living catalysts for inquiry, creativity, and reflection. They invited successive generations to confront the mysteries inherent in existence and to embrace the tensions that define the human experience. Eliza's story, rooted in a small coastal town, thus became a timeless narrative, an enduring emblem of the delicate dance between reality and the unknown that lies at the heart of life itself. Eliza's story, woven through decades of photographs, whispered legends, and scholarly inquiry, endured as a poignant local legend, one that transcended the boundaries of time and place to touch on universal themes of existence and memory. Her image, captured again and again in a youthful, unchanging visage, became a symbol both haunting and hopeful, a reminder of the fragile interplay between reality and the unknown that defines human experience. The photographs, once hidden away in dusty attics and family albums, found a new home within the town's modest museum, carefully preserved and displayed for visitors drawn by the enduring enigma. These images, arranged in chronological order, formed a silent narrative that invited reflection on the passage of time, the mysteries of life, and the human desire to hold fast to fleeting moments. Visitors, from curious tourists to devoted scholars, stood before the portraits, contemplating the girl who never seemed to age and the mysteries her unchanging face embodied. The museum became a place of pilgrimage, not merely for those seeking answers, but for those seeking connection, a tangible link to the past and to the enduring questions about youth, mortality, and the nature of time. The photographs served as a mirror, reflecting back the universal human longing to capture and preserve what is transient, to resist the inevitable flow of change that marks every life. In this way, Eliza's image transcended its specifics, becoming a symbol of the broader human condition. Local educators incorporated Eliza's story into their curriculum, encouraging students to explore the intersections of history, science, and folklore. Through discussions and projects, young minds engaged with the mysteries surrounding Eliza, learning to appreciate the complexities of inquiry and the value of embracing uncertainty. The story became a tool for fostering critical thinking and empathy, inspiring a new generation to consider the delicate balance between knowledge and wonder. Artists continued to draw inspiration from Eliza's unchanging visage, creating works that explored themes of timelessness and transformation. Exhibitions and performances celebrated the enduring mystery, inviting audiences to enter into dialogue with the past and to consider their own relationships with memory and identity. Through these creative expressions, Eliza's legacy remained vibrant, a living testament to the power of narrative to shape and sustain community. The tale also prompted ongoing scholarly reflection. Conferences and publications revisited the phenomenon, examining it through evolving theoretical frameworks and technological advances. Each generation of researchers brought new perspectives, ensuring that Eliza's story remained a dynamic subject of inquiry rather than a closed chapter. The mystery challenged scholars to think beyond conventional boundaries, encouraging interdisciplinary approaches that bridged science, humanities, and the arts. At the heart of this enduring legacy was the recognition that some mysteries resist final explanation, yet their value lies not solely in answers, but in the questions they provoke. Eliza's unchanging image became a catalyst for reflection on the nature of existence, the limits of human understanding, and the enduring power of memory. It reminded all who encountered it that life is marked by both certainty and enigma, that the boundaries between the known and the unknown are porous and shifting. The story also honored the human experiences that underpinned the mystery, the love and protection of the Whitmore family, the curiosity and care of the community, and the enduring fascination of those who sought to understand. These human threads wove through the photographs and legends, grounding the enigma in the realities of life, loss, and connection. Eliza's image was not merely an anomaly, but a testament to the fragile beauty of existence itself. In the quiet moments of the museum, among the softly lit portraits, visitors often felt a sense of intimacy with Eliza, as if through her unchanging gaze, she reached across time to share a silent story. This connection transcended words, speaking to the shared human desire to be seen, remembered, and understood. It was a testament to the power of images and stories to bridge temporal divides and to touch the depths of the soul. Ultimately, Eliza's story invites ongoing reflection on what it means to live and to remember. It challenges us to embrace the mysteries that lie beyond certainty, to honor the moments that define us, and to recognize the enduring interplay between reality and the unknown. Through her unchanging image, Eliza continues to live in the hearts and minds of those who encounter her, a timeless symbol of the delicate dance between life, memory, and the passage of time. The legacy of Eliza's photographs, preserved and cherished, serves as a reminder that history is not merely a record of facts, but a living dialogue between past and present, a dialogue enriched by mystery, shaped by human experience, and sustained by the stories we tell. Her tale endures as an invitation to explore the boundaries of knowledge and to find meaning in the interplay of light and shadow that defines our understanding of the world. In the end, Eliza remains a figure both elusive and familiar, a child forever captured in the glow of youth, whose image beckons us to ponder the mysteries that lie at the heart of existence. Her story lives on, not as a closed chapter, but as an open question, a timeless narrative that continues to inspire wonder, reflection, and the enduring search for understanding.